These are the type of curtains you should be buying, and these are the ones you should be avoiding. If you've been shopping for curtains, you probably know there are so many different styles available to choose from. So in this video, I want to go over all the different types and styles of headers available, which ones you should be buying, and which ones you should be avoiding. Let's get into it. First up are tab top curtains. Now, I'm sure you've seen this style a lot before. They are definitely a very popular style that a lot of stores carry, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should be buying them. This style features a simple tab on top of the curtain, hence the name, tab top, and the rod just simply slides through that tab and voila, you're done hanging up. It's pretty simple and straightforward, and you're going to see this style a lot if you're going in person to buy your curtains, let's say like at Target or Crate & Barrel or even like Home Goods or something. To me, they look a little bit casual. They also look a little dated, so I would probably stay away from this style. They would probably look good in a kid's room or maybe even a nursery if you wanted to go that route. Other than that, I really feel like you should choose a different style for your living rooms and bedrooms. The next curtain style I want to cover is rod pocket curtains. These are also readily available, super easy to find. They're kind of everywhere. I just don't really like the look, not to mention they're a pain in the butt to open and close. That curtain gets stuck on the rod and it's super impractical. So I just feel like you should stay away from this style altogether. The third option I want to talk about are back tab curtains. Now these are similar to the tab top curtains, except for the tab is in the back of the curtain so you really don't see it. I don't mind the way that these look from the front. However, they're still kind of a pain in the butt to open and close. So if you do like this look, but you want them to be a little bit more practical, I'm going to be sharing another style later on in this video that you should consider. As far as this style goes, I totally get that they're easy to find, but once again, that doesn't mean that we need to be buying it. The fourth option that I want to talk about are grommet curtains. This particular style was used a lot in the 90s and early 2000s, and for that reason, they just look dated to me. Now, I know that they slide really nicely across the rod, and I think that's why people are a fan of these. I also feel like people think they look very modern and contemporary, but they don't. To me, they still just look really dated. They look kind of cheap, and there are just so many better options these days. The next couple of styles are called a 3-in-1 or even a 4-in-1, and this really just depends on the manufacturer and what they decide to call it. Now, there's a couple different styles of these curtains. The first style is going to feature a back tab option and also probably a pole or rod pocket option as well. And then they're probably going to show them to you being hung by rings and clips. And it's no surprise to me, this still just looks cheap. Even though they're branding it as a 3-in-1, like you get so many different ways to hang it, they're still not good options. So I would definitely avoid these as well. Now, there's also a different type of a 3-in-1 and 4-in-1 curtain that you're going to see when shopping online. And these ones actually feature a drapery or curtain tape that's sewn onto the back of the curtain at the top. This allows you to hang it in a bunch of different ways. You typically need to use drapery pins or hooks that slide into the back of the curtain. That way you can hang them in a bunch of different ways, either on a rod, using rings, or even on a ceiling track. And in my opinion, this is a much better option than that other 3-in-1 style. Now, speaking of that drapery and curtain tape that is sewn onto the back, that kind of gets us into a different style of curtain, and that's the pleated curtains. Most of the time, you're going to see pleated curtains hung by rings on a rod, and it's not by a clip. Those rings are actually going to hook onto that drapery hook onto the back, and then you can slide them onto your rod. So really, all you're seeing is that ring and rod, and it's a very elegant and elevated look. And now there are so many different styles of pleated curtains available, but I'm only going to cover 4 in this video that I think that you should be considering. The rest of them look a little bit dated. They're just a little too gaudy, a little too like old world traditional. So I'm going to avoid those and focus on the ones that we should be thinking about. The first of which is called a pinch pleat curtain. Now this is simply where 2 pieces of fabric are gathered at the top and sewn kind of like in an L shape. And this just really gives the illusion of a much more full and luxurious curtain once it's hung. And I feel like this style works the best in a more transitional to traditional style space. There's also what's called a triple pinch pleat. This is basically the exact same thing, but they take 3 pieces of fabric and sew it at the top so it looks even more full once it's hung. In my opinion, the triple pleat actually looks slightly more traditional than your typical pinch pleat curtain. So depending on the look that you're going for, that's just something to think about. So what if you wanted a pleated curtain, but you don't want it to look quite so traditional? In that case, I would highly suggest a Euro pleat. This really gives the illusion of a full pleated curtain, but it looks a little bit more modern and contemporary just because it's just tacked and sewn at the very, very top, kind of creating a little triangle shape from the top down. There's also a pleated option called an inverted pleat or a box pleat. And to me, this looks very tailored, very custom. This is very similar to like the pinch pleat, but everything is sewn on the back side. So you're really not seeing all that fabric gathered at the top. It's going to look a little bit more clean and tailored once it's all said and done. I think these are two great options if you want the look of a pleated curtain, but you want something that's slightly more contemporary. The last style that I want to talk about is called a Ripplefold curtain. Now this also goes by different names depending on where you're buying it from. They can also be called a wave fold or an S-fold. They're basically all the same thing. Now, instead of using drapery pins or hooks, this is a little bit different because it features a snap mechanism. Now, part of it is going to hang from the ceiling track itself. The other part is going to hang on the curtain. So once you snap those together, it actually lines up beautifully and you get these perfect ripples, no matter if your curtains are open or closed. These are typically hung from a ceiling track and gives a very contemporary and modern look. So when I said that there were better options for that back tab or even that pole pocket, this is what I'm talking about. It's going to look super sleek and tailored and contemporary, and it is a great option to consider. So I know what you're thinking, Tara, where the heck do I find all these curtain styles that you're talking about? I've never seen them. And that's probably true. Most stores only carry like the grommet curtains, the back tab, and the rod pocket curtains, which I'm kindly telling you, you should be avoiding. So all these other curtains are typically going to be custom curtains. There are multiple places online to get them from. I've personally worked with Homerilla multiple times for curtains for my home. I honestly cannot recommend them enough. They have so many different styles available. All of the styles that I mentioned in this video and some. Not to mention they have so many different fabrics and colors to choose from. They also do custom lengths and widths, so you can get the perfect curtain to fit your space. And they are a fraction of the cost of what you would spend on normal custom curtains. So I'll be sure to link them in the description. And I also have a code for you guys to use so you can save a little bit of money on your order. So definitely check that out as well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. It really helps my channel out and lets me know the type of content that you want to see from me. Until next time, cheers.